Hello and welcome to The Wave from Ocean Reef, a podcast about the flow of life today and how you and I might ride with or swim against it. I'm Dan Meyer, Chaplain-in-Residence at the beautiful Ocean Reef community in Key Largo, Florida, and here's The Wave for today. One dreary November night, I traipsed through the streets of Cambridge, Massachusetts. A few hours earlier, the woman I'd hoped to marry had broken off our relationship. She had left my life on the arm of someone else. I walked for hours through the rain that night. I cried my eyes dry and seriously considered throwing myself into the icy Charles River to end it all. About 2 a.m, however, I wandered into a dormitory social hall where a once-packed party had dwindled off to almost nothing. The place stank of stale beer and sweat. A few couples still rocked in a clench on the sticky dance floor as a bad stereo system droned out the last few songs of the night. All I could think of was that the woman I loved was out there somewhere in the arms of somebody else. I'm not sure how long I'd been standing there when a voice broke into my haze from behind me and back. "Looks like you've had a hard night," the voice chirped buoyantly. I glanced quickly over my shoulder and saw that the voice had come from a rather ample girl sitting in the shadows on a chair by the wall. Not wanting to encourage further conversation, I grunted, "Yeah, it's been quite a night." "Why don't you tell me about it?" she said. "Look," I barked over my shoulder, I don't want to talk about it, okay?" "Sure, I understand," she went on. "Sometimes it's really tough to talk." I nodded my head without turning, returning my gaze to the dance floor once more. "But you know," the voice piped up again, "it helps to know that there's someone else who understands. You'll be all right. You are not alone." Well, I could take it no longer. That final saccharine statement was the last straw. Boiling with misery, I whirled on the stranger to tell her just what I thought of her cliché solutions. How dare she push her way into my world? What could she begin to know about what I'd been through or the loneliness and the pain? And I opened my mouth and I turned in rage to tell her off when suddenly the words froze. For the first time, I now squarely faced the girl sitting in the shadows against the wall. In the dim light that shone from across the dance floor, I could see only 2 things. The first was the strangely pretty smile and gentle eyes that met mine with a look of compassion and understanding so undeserved and free that it sent chills down my spine and still does in remembrance. And the second thing I made out as my eyes adjusted to the light was that the chair she sat in had very large wheels on it. History is filled with the personal accounts of individuals who were simply going along in life when they suddenly found themselves in the presence of transcendence in a way that permanently changed them. The great English reformer, John Wesley, describes a moment when "I felt my heart strangely warmed," and it set his life on a new course. The brilliant French mathematician Blaise Pascal writes in his diary, "The year of grace, 1654, Monday, 23 November, from about 10:30 at night until about 10:30 midnight, fire. God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, not of the philosophers and of the learned, certitude, certitude, feeling, joy, peace." I don't know whether or not you've ever had an experience anything like this. That night in Cambridge, however, it felt to me like I was meeting in the eyes of that wheelchair-bound girl someone greater. In my lonely agony, I had whirled upon this girl with perfect assurance that no one could possibly know my pain. And I was met instead by a larger heart who'd obviously had experiences that suggested she truly got mine. One of the important messages of the Holy Week that we have just passed through is that God gets us and is for us. Like the girl in the wheelchair, Christ's passion demonstrates that God has felt pain and has known injustice in his own body and is more than qualified to be a companion and a counselor in our pain and injustice. The recent Easter celebration claims the existence of a Savior greater than human failings and greater than the gravity of our mortality, someone with the power to help us rise above the November nights of our lives. Do you have a story to tell? Do you have experiences of pain or injustice that need to be spoken of, if only to gain the kind of perspective you need to keep going on? If you want to talk about any of that story, I'd be honored to sit down with you and get to know it. And I'll be available through the chapel here at Ocean Reef from now through the end of May. That's today's Wave from Ocean Reef. If you know of others who might appreciate this sort of content, I hope you'll pass it along or encourage them to find me on Spotify, Apple, or other podcast outlets. Until next time, I'm Dan Meyer, hoping that the flow of life is good for you.